Here's the exact text written with no additions or changes. Number 10. The snail's gaze. Ever been standing in a perfectly safe place, maybe your own kitchen, and felt a sudden, inexplicable shiver go down your spine? Like you're being watched, but you know you're not. No, it's not ghosts, and it's not your neighbor peeking through the window again. It's an evolutionary phantom limb, a sensory ghost of a past life, when being observed meant you were probably about to become someone else's lunch. We are, at our core, paranoid primates. Our ancestors lived in a world where the rustle of a leaf could be a saber-toothed cat, and a pair of eyes staring from the darkness was the last thing you'd ever see. This constant vigilance, this threat detection system, is so deeply ingrained that it's still running in the background, scanning for danger even when you're just trying to decide if you want to use the last bit of milk for cereal or coffee. Your modern brain knows you're safe, but the primal parts of your brain, they're still on high alert, convinced that the refrigerator's hum is just a prelude to an ambush. It's a low-grade, constant hum of anxiety, a whisper in your subconscious that says, "Don't get too comfortable. Something's always watching." Basically, your ancient instincts are still convinced that the Amazon delivery driver might be a jaguar in a poorly fitting uniform. Number 9. The rustle of the void. You're scrolling through TikTok at 2 a.m. The only sound in the house is the chirping of a cricket that's somehow gotten inside. And then you hear it, a single distinct thump from the next room. Your entire body goes on a full system lockdown. Your heart rate skyrockets, your muscles tense, and your eyes dart around the room as if they can somehow see through walls. What was it? The house settling? The cat knocking over a pillow? The logical part of you knows it's probably nothing, but another, more ancient part of your brain is screaming, "Intruder! Assassin! Giant spider!" This isn't just a simple jump scare. It's a finely tuned fear response to unexpected sounds in the dark. For our ancestors, an unusual noise in the middle of the night wasn't a quirk of old architecture. It was a potential predator stalking them in their sleep. They didn't have flashlights or home security systems. They had to rely on their wits and their ears. Your brain has inherited this same survival software. It's a better safe than sorry protocol on steroids. It automatically assigns the most dangerous possible meaning to any unknown sound, because the cost of being wrong was, well, everything. So that thump you heard wasn't just a noise. It was your body preparing to fight for its life against an imagined foe. Number 8. The bottomless pit of nothing. You're standing on a balcony, a cliff, or just a really tall ladder, and you feel it, a sudden, dizzying, almost magnetic pull toward the edge. You're not suicidal. You have no intention of jumping. Yet for a split second, a terrifying impulse flashes through your mind, a bizarre curiosity about what would happen. This is what the French call l'appel du vide, or the call of the void, and it's not a death wish. It's a bizarre survival instinct in disguise. The pull you feel is your brain doing a rapid-fire risk assessment. When you see a high drop, your brain recognizes the extreme danger. It immediately sends out an alarm signal, a kind of internal siren that says, "Danger. Do not do the stupid thing." But sometimes, because our brains are weird and like to over-explain things, that signal gets misinterpreted. Your brain is trying to say, "Be careful, you could fall," but the message gets garbled, and your conscious mind translates it as, "I want to jump." It's an overcorrection, a panicked misfire of your self-preservation software. The fear you feel is so intense that it momentarily tricks you into thinking you're the one generating the dangerous idea, when in reality, it's just your body's incredibly dramatic way of screaming, "Stay put!" Here's the exact text rewritten with no additions or changes. Number 7. The unblinking eye. Imagine walking alone through a dark parking garage. Suddenly, you feel a prickle on the back of your neck. You glance around and see a single security camera, its red light blinking, staring right at you. You feel violated, exposed, like you've just been caught doing something you shouldn't, even though you were just walking to your car. This is a very specific, modern fear that taps into an ancient one, the fear of being watched without your knowledge. Our ancestors were the prey of ambush predators, masters of stealth and surprise. The feeling of being watched was often a very real prelude to an attack. Our brains evolved to detect and react to this kind of surveillance, And while we don't have cheetahs hiding behind every pillar anymore, the same neural pathways get activated by the cold, unblinking eye of a surveillance camera. It's a fundamental violation of our personal space and autonomy, a constant reminder that we are no longer alone in our own existence. It triggers a primal sense of vulnerability, an echo of a time when the watcher was the predator and you were the meal. Number 6, the creeping darkness. You're a kid again, in bed and the lights are out. Every shadow in the room turns into a potential monster. The coat on the chair becomes a lurking figure. The laundry basket is a crouched beast. You know it's just your imagination, but the fear is real, palpable, and suffocating. This isn't just childhood whimsy. It's a hardwired fear of the dark, or more accurately, the unknown that the dark represents. For millions of years, the night was a time of heightened danger. Predators who had superior night vision were on the hunt. Our vision-dependent primate ancestors were at their most vulnerable. The dark wasn't just a lack of light. It was a blanket of potential threats. Our brains to this day still fill in the blanks of what we can't see with the worst-case scenarios. It's a cognitive shortcut. Since our eyes can't provide information, our brain provides a narrative. And that narrative is almost always something bad is coming for you. This is why, even as adults, a power outage can be unsettling and a trip to the basement feels like an expedition into a horror movie. It's the ancient terror of what you can't see and therefore can't control coming to life in your mind. Number 5, the swarm of the smaller. Have you ever been sitting at a picnic and had a single bee land on your arm and your whole body tenses up? You don't scream, but you hold perfectly still, a statue of pure, quiet terror. Then a few more bees show up, and suddenly you feel an almost uncontrollable urge to run, to flail, to just get away. This isn't just about the fear of being stung. It's an ancient primal revulsion to swarming insects, a very specific kind of fear that has a name: catsaridophobia, the fear of cockroaches, and apophobia, the fear of bees. It's not just a phobia of a single bug. It's the terror of the collective, of the overwhelming, chaotic mass. Our ancestors, living in caves and crude shelters, learned very quickly that an infestation of insects or arachnids often meant a serious threat. A nest of venomous spiders or a swarm of stinging insects could lead to serious injury or death. This isn't a fear you learn. It's one you feel deep in your bones. Your brain sees a swarm and immediately triggers the Get Out Now protocol, a raw, unthinking panic response designed to get you away from a collective threat before you can even process what it is. Here's the exact text, rewritten with no additions or changes. Number 4, the whispering woods. You're walking down a quiet forest path, the sun filtering through the leaves, a gentle breeze rustling the branches. Everything is beautiful, peaceful, and then you feel it. A subtle unease, a sense of being out of place, an irrational fear that something is watching you from the shadows. You might even hear things, a twig snapping that you can't see the source of, a strange call that sounds a little too close. This is nyctophobia, the fear of darkness, but a more specific, ancient version tied to the wild. Forests, even serene ones, are inherently chaotic and unpredictable environments. For our distant ancestors, the woods were both a source of life and a place of death. Predators, rival tribes, and unknown dangers lurked in the dense foliage. Our brains evolved to be hypervigilant in these environments, to interpret every shadow and every unfamiliar sound as a potential threat. It's a fear of the unknown, of the hidden, of the world outside of our control. The same brain that tells you the forest is a beautiful place for a hike is also running a constant threat assessment in the background, a remnant of a time when getting lost in the woods was a death sentence. Number 3, the sensation of dirt. You're watching a documentary on ancient history, and a scene shows a person with dirty fingernails caked in mud, and your stomach turns a little. Or you're at a party and you shake someone's hand, and you can feel they've been working with something gritty, and you immediately want to go wash your hands. This isn't just about hygiene. It's a deep-seated revulsion to things that are messy, gritty, or unclean. Our aversion to dirt and decay is a fundamental evolutionary trait. For our ancestors, uncleanliness wasn't a minor social faux pas. It was a matter of life and death. Rotting food, dirty water, and unsanitary conditions were breeding grounds for pathogens, parasites, and diseases that could wipe out an entire tribe. Your gut reaction to a dirty surface or a rotten smell is a biological warning system. Your brain is essentially screaming, "That's a potential disease vector. Stay away." It's a preemptive strike. A protective measure that kicks in before you even have a chance to think about it. It's the reason that even a microscopic bit of dirt under your fingernail can feel like a major catastrophe to your brain. Number 2, the silent one. You're in a crowded place, a mall, a concert, a busy street. It's loud, chaotic, and full of life. Then, you see someone standing perfectly still, absolutely silent, their eyes just slightly unfocused. Everyone else is in motion, talking, laughing, doing something. But this person is just not. An immediate, subtle alarm goes off in your head. Your brain registers this person as an anomaly. They don't fit the pattern. They are a quiet, still point in a sea of motion, and your primal brain has been trained for eons to see this kind of anomaly as a threat. Is this person sick? Are they a predator observing their prey? Are they a rival trying to blend in? The collective fear of a silent, motionless figure in a chaotic environment is a reflection of our tribal past, a time when a lone, still figure in a clearing was often a sign of an ambush or a stalker. Your brain is wired to expect people to act in certain predictable ways. When they don't, it triggers a quiet internal panic button. Number 1, the serpent's coil. Imagine you're walking through a yard and you see a coiled up garden hose, and for a split second, your heart leaps into your throat. You flinch, you jump back, and your brain screams, "Snake!" Before you even consciously register, it's just a hose. This is arguably the most hardwired universal fear we have. Ophidiophobia, the fear of snakes, isn't something you learn from watching bad movies. It's so deeply ingrained that scientists have found that even very young babies who have no personal experience with snakes will show a fear response to images of them. The theory is that our primate ancestors who had a healthy, visceral fear of snakes were the ones who survived and passed on their genes. Snakes were, and still are in many parts of the world, a genuine and potent threat. They are camouflaged, silent, and often venomous. The human brain has a specific, dedicated neural pathway just for detecting and reacting to snakes. So you're not just reacting to a general threat, you're reacting to a specific evolutionary enemy. That moment of primal panic isn't a mistake. It's a perfect example of your DNA screaming a warning that has kept your lineage alive for millions of years.